Dr. Trinity Blevins sat in her own garage, rehearsing where she had been. Hospital, pharmacy, preschool, grocery store, home. She repeated the route, fitting each stop against the 47 miles glowing on the dashboard. 12 miles to the hospital, 6 to the pharmacy, traffic near Madison, the preschool pickup, a construction detour that forced her 2 streets north. That should explain it. Her hand reached for the door, then stopped. Explain it to whom? Josh had not asked anything yet. He was somewhere inside the house, probably helping his mother settle the twins for dinner. And still, Trinity had spent nearly a minute preparing an answer. She sat back. For the first time, she understood that the questions no longer had to come from Josh. She had begun asking them for him. At 5:42 that morning, the Blevins' home looked like a family people would envy. Rain misted the windows. 2 preschool backpacks waited beside the door. Emma's contained a glitter-covered art folder. Ethan's held the plastic dinosaur he carried everywhere except when he needed to find it. Linda Blevins moved between the breakfast table and stove with the calm authority of a woman who had already raised children and now believed grandchildren were easier because she could send them back upstairs. Linda had lived with Trinity and Josh for 3 years. Josh called her their live-in babysitter. Linda called herself the resident grandmother. Trinity called her indispensable. Without Linda, hospital shifts, construction schedules, preschool pickup, sick days, and the ordinary unpredictability of 5-year-old twins would have required an entire calendar of strangers. With her, the house worked. Josh entered in worn boots and a gray sweatshirt bearing the name Blevins Residential Construction. He had built the company slowly. 1 pickup truck, borrowed equipment, weekend renovations. Then enough steady work to employ 3 workers and keep several subcontractors busy. Trinity had admired his persistence from the beginning. Josh noticed what needed to be repaired. He anticipated problems before other people saw them. 9 years earlier, that quality had made her feel safe. "You're leaving early," he said. "I have rounds before clinic." "I thought rounds started at 7. "They do." His eyes moved toward the clock. "It isn't 6. I need to review a new admission." Josh smiled. "I'm not interrogating you, Doc." Trinity smiled back. "I didn't say you were." He handed her the coffee she had forgotten and kissed her temple. "Drive safely." "I always do. So I keep telling myself." His tone was affectionate. Still, as Trinity walked toward the garage, she calculated how long the drive should take. She did not yet call that fear. She called it being considerate. Dear hearts, before we continue, subscribe and become part of the Velvet Circle. This is a place where women's experiences are believed, where subtle patterns are named, and where concern is not automatically confused with control. Because a locked door is easy to recognize. A question asked with a smile can take much longer. The first time Josh mentioned her mileage, Trinity almost laughed. They were unloading groceries when he glanced through the open driver's door. "You drove 62 miles today?" Trinity balanced a bag of apples against her hip. "I probably did. The hospital is 12 miles away. I stopped at the pharmacy." "Which pharmacy?" "The one near Madison. That's out of the way." "Not by much." Josh nodded and carried the groceries inside. That was all. No anger, no accusation, no consequence. Only a question she could answer. Later that night, Trinity looked up the distance from the hospital to the pharmacy. She told herself she was curious. The following week, he asked again. 84 miles? I had a consult at the rehabilitation center. I thought you were in clinic." "I was. The consult came later." Josh nodded. "Just wondering." The next morning, Trinity entered the rehabilitation center address into her phone. 21 miles from the hospital. 42 round trip. Having the number calmed her. After that, she began remembering routes more carefully. Not because Josh had forbidden her from going anywhere, because she had discovered that proof could shorten the questioning. That was the first change. She was not yet avoiding places. She was preparing to defend them. At the hospital, Trinity was known for seeing what other people missed. A patient arrived complaining of fatigue. The basic tests were unremarkable. The residents suggested stress. Trinity noticed 3 small details. The patient struggled to fasten 2 buttons. She paused before answering simple questions. A bruise on her outer arm did not match the explanation she gave. None proved anything alone. Together, they changed the case. Trinity ordered additional tests and requested a private conversation. By afternoon, the patient was receiving treatment for a condition that might otherwise have been dismissed for months. "You always catch the pattern," the resident told her. Trinity smiled. That evening, Josh asked why she had used a pharmacy farther from the hospital. Trinity answered without hesitation. She did not place the question beside the mileage checks. She did not compare it with the route calculations saved in her phone. At work, she trusted accumulation. At home, she trusted explanation. One Friday, Linda developed a migraine and Trinity picked up the twins. Emma wanted to see the ducks at Green Lake. Ethan wanted to race leaves along the edge of the path. Trinity had charts waiting. Dinner had not been planned. Laundry sat unfolded at home. Still, she turned toward the park. For 20 minutes, she belonged only to the moment. Emma announced that one duck was secretly a queen. Ethan crouched beside a narrow stream of rainwater, cheering as each leaf passed beneath a twig. Trinity laughed, not politely, not carefully. The laugh rose before she could manage it. Her phone vibrated. Before she saw the screen, her shoulders tightened. "Josh, everything okay?" "Yes. You're usually home by now. We stopped at Green Lake." A pause. "You didn't mention that." "I didn't know we were coming. You could have texted. The children asked while we were driving. I was worried." His voice remained gentle. Trinity looked at the twins. "We're fine. When will you be home?" "Soon." "How soon?" She checked the time. 20 minutes. Emma protested when Trinity called them toward the car. "It isn't raining hard." Trinity looked at the sky. Emma was right. The rain had not ended the afternoon. The phone call had. As Trinity fastened the twins into their seats, irritation moved through her. It did not dissolve into guilt immediately. That was new. That evening, Josh sat at the kitchen island reviewing invoices. He did not look angry. He did not even raise his head when he asked, "How far is Green Lake from the preschool?" "I don't know." "You drove there?" "Yes." "So approximately?" Trinity placed dinner beside him. "Why does it matter?" "It doesn't." "Then why are you asking?" Josh raised his head. "I'm trying to understand why you get defensive over simple questions." The conversation changed direction. His need to calculate her route disappeared. Her reaction replaced it. "I'm not defensive." "You are." "I'm tired. So am I." "Then let's not do this." "Do what?" Trinity opened her mouth. Nothing came. If she called it questioning, he could say married people spoke to one another. If she called it monitoring, he could laugh. If she called it uncomfortable, he could ask why an innocent woman felt uncomfortable. Josh returned to his invoices. "You usually know where you've been." Trinity walked upstairs. Halfway there, she stopped. She had been searching for the correct response again, not the answer about Green Lake, the answer that would prove she was not defensive. The original question had vanished, and she had followed it out of the room. For the first time, Trinity recognized the movement while it was happening. The retirement dinner had been on the family calendar for weeks. Trinity mentioned it again that morning. At 7:18, Josh texted, "How much longer?" She replied that dessert had just been served. At 7:26, "Who are you sitting with?" At 7:31, "Send me a picture of the table." Trinity stared at the screen. Across from her, Dr. Celeste Morgan noticed. "Everything all right?" "Yes." The answer came before Trinity considered whether it was true. She raised her phone and photographed the table. She included the department chair, 2 nurses, several physicians, the retirement cake. Proof. Josh replied with a thumbs up. At 8:04, "You said dessert was served almost an hour ago." Trinity left before the final speech. In the parking garage, anger rose. By the time she reached home, guilt had begun working against it. Josh sat in the living room with both children asleep beside him. "You made it," he said. "I told you I would. I saved you dinner." He looked like the man who had brought food during her residency and slept upright beside Ethan's crib through a fever. Trinity sat beside him. Josh kissed her forehead. For several minutes, the evening softened. The next morning, Trinity found the photograph on her phone. She had not taken it to remember the retirement dinner. She had taken it to verify her innocence. She did not delete it. Not yet. She looked at the image until the humiliation became clear. Then she moved it into a private folder. For the first time, she preserved evidence of the way his questions made her feel. Linda noticed more than she said. One afternoon, while folding the twins' clothes, she asked, "Does Josh always ask about your driving?" Trinity continued matching socks. "He worries." Linda folded a small superhero shirt. "His father used to count grocery bags." Trinity looked up. "What?" "If I came home with fewer bags than he expected, he asked where I had been." "That's strange." "I didn't think so at first." Linda smoothed the shirt. "I thought he was careful with money." "What happened?" Linda's hands stopped. "I got better at coming straight home." The sentence entered Trinity slowly. Linda had not described a dramatic confrontation. She had described adaptation. The questions had worked because they changed her. Trinity thought of the pharmacy distance saved in her phone, the retirement dinner she left early, the park visit reduced to 20 minutes, the explanations rehearsed in the garage. She had been waiting for Josh to forbid something. She had not understood that control could succeed without a prohibition. It only needed to make freedom exhausting. Josh began filling Trinity's gas tank himself. At first, it felt thoughtful. Then receipts appeared on the kitchen counter. Then he remembered the exact gallons. "You filled up Tuesday." "Yes, you're already below half. I drove to Bellevue for a conference." "You didn't say it was in Bellevue." "I said I had a conference." "You said nothing about crossing the lake." Trinity exhaled. "Why are we discussing this? Fuel is expensive. I pay for my gas. From our account, the account my salary goes into." Josh's expression changed. "You don't have to throw your salary in my face." "I didn't." "You just did." The conversation waited for Trinity in its usual place. His pride, her income, the construction company, the accusation that she believed herself superior. "I'm talking about why you need to know every route I take." Josh stared at her. "Now I need permission to ask my wife a question?" "I didn't say that." "You're acting like I'm some controlling husband." Trinity felt the urge to reassure him. She nearly said, "I don't think that." Instead, she looked at the receipt between them. "I don't want my gas usage monitored." Josh shook his head. "You are making this much bigger than it is." Perhaps she was, but for the first time, Trinity did not apologize for the possibility. Dear hearts, this is where many women lose sight of the original concern. The conversation moves until peace can be restored only by apologizing, explaining, or becoming smaller. Subscribe and remain with the Velvet Circle, because Trinity is beginning to understand that peace purchased with self-erasure is not peace. The notebook was beneath a stack of appliance warranties. Trinity opened the drawer while searching for a pen. The first page contained dates. The second contained odometer readings. Then calculations. Expected mileage, actual mileage, fuel purchases, estimated travel times. Her initials appeared at the top. TB. She turned the page. Green Lake. The retirement dinner. A coffee shop where she had met Celeste after a difficult shift. The twins' pediatrician. A residential address in Queen Anne, where a former patient's family held a memorial service. Every unplanned stop had become a discrepancy. Behind her, Linda entered the kitchen. She saw the notebook and stopped. Trinity looked up. "You knew." Linda's face changed. "I saw him writing in it." "And you didn't tell me?" "I asked him once." "What did he say?" "That doctors have complicated schedules. That he needed to know where the family car was." "The family car?" "He said you had become secretive." Trinity looked at the pages. For months, she had been trying to make her life fit calculations she did not know existed. "I have been helping him complete this," she said. Linda began to cry. Trinity did not move toward her. She had spent years helping everyone else recover from the discomfort Josh created. This moment belonged to her. Josh came home carrying food from Trinity's favorite Thai restaurant. I thought you wouldn't want to cook. Trinity sat at the island with the notebook in front of her. His eyes dropped toward it. For one brief second, warmth left his face. You went through my things? It was in the kitchen drawer. That doesn't make it yours. It is about me. It's mileage. It is a record of everywhere I go. It's a budget tool. Your mileage is not in it. I use my truck for work. Stop tracking me. Josh laughed once. Tracking? Yes. Don't use loaded language to make me sound dangerous. I did not call you dangerous. You're implying it. Trinity felt the familiar pull. Explain the word. Soften the tone. Reassure him that she did not think badly of him. She stayed where she was. Stop tracking me. Josh's jaw tightened. You don't get to issue orders because you make more money. This is not about income. It always comes back to income with you. No, it keeps coming back to income with you whenever I question your behavior. Josh stared at her. The sentence surprised them both. He picked up the notebook and dropped it into the trash. There, problem solved. Trinity looked at the trash can, then at him. No. What? You threw away the record. You did not answer for the monitoring. What do you want from me? I want it to stop. It has stopped. Trinity did not know whether that was true. For the first time, she understood that his assurance was not enough. Dear hearts, the primary pattern in Trinity's story is coercive control through surveillance. Coercive control is a repeated pattern that restricts another person's freedom and independence. It can include checking mileage, demanding photographs, tracking locations, reviewing spending, monitoring phone activity, questioning ordinary schedule changes, or requiring detailed explanations for routine choices. One question is not automatically abuse. The pattern becomes controlling when one partner must repeatedly account for normal movement and begins changing behavior to avoid suspicion, tension, or punishment. Emotional abuse can damage a person's self-worth and sense of deserving respect. Psychological abuse can damage her confidence in her own memory, judgment, and perception. Trinity had begun adapting her behavior before Josh even asked. That adaptation was not proof that she was dishonest. It was evidence that the questioning had changed her. That night, Josh slept. Trinity did not. At 1:16, she reached for her phone. Her location was being shared continuously with Josh. She did not remember agreeing to that. Then she opened the account connected to her SUV. Josh's phone was listed as an authorized user. The app showed the vehicle's location, fuel level, recent trips, driving history. Trinity stared at the screen. The notebook had not been the surveillance. It had been the summary. Her first feeling was fear. Her second was shame. She was a physician. She recognized hidden conditions in strangers. How would she miss this? Then she thought of the woman at the hospital whose symptoms had been dismissed because each one seemed explainable alone. Trinity had not missed one obvious event. She had been given dozens of explanations. Concern, marriage, stress, love, money, responsibility. She took screenshots, sent them to a private account, then placed the retirement dinner photograph beside them. For the first time, she allowed separate incidents to become one pattern. Before dawn, Trinity stood beside the SUV. The dashboard was dark. She had not decided whether to leave. She had not spoken the word abuse aloud. But she had stopped asking whether Josh meant well. She was asking what his behavior required her to become. And for the first time, she had preserved the answer. Trinity believed the vehicle app was the deepest violation she would find. She did not yet know that Josh had already moved beyond the car. The morning after discovering the vehicle access, Trinity did not disable it immediately. She wanted to remove Josh, change every password, wake him, and demand an explanation. But the physician inside her understood that she had found only one part of the system. At 5:10, she photographed the location settings, the vehicle account, the authorized devices, the route history. She sent everything to a private email account Josh did not know existed. The secrecy made her uncomfortable. Josh had taught her to experience privacy as guilt. She nearly deleted the evidence. Instead, she closed the account and kept it. For the first time, Trinity possessed information without offering Josh access to it. At breakfast, Josh behaved as though the notebook confrontation had resolved everything. He made pancakes, helped Ethan find the dinosaur, asked Linda whether she needed anything from the hardware store. Then he placed Trinity's coffee beside her. "You're quiet. I'm tired. You didn't sleep?" "Not much." Josh looked hurt. "I said I would stop." "You threw away a notebook. What more do you want?" "I want the monitoring to stop." "I don't monitor you. You had access to my vehicle history. You gave me access when we bought the car. I gave it to you to help set up the account. And you never removed me, so you continued checking." The twins were still at the table. Linda moved quickly. "Let's finish breakfast in the den." When the room was quiet, Josh opened the vehicle app and removed his phone. There, he held up the screen. Done. A week earlier, Trinity might have thanked him. Now she understood what the gesture required: gratitude for the return of privacy that should never have been taken. Removing yourself does not answer why you used it. Josh's face hardened. "You said you wanted it stopped. I also want to understand what you did. Why isn't stopping enough?" Because Trinity no longer wanted only relief. She wanted truth. Dear hearts, subscribe and remain with the Velvet Circle. A controlling person may offer quick compliance when challenged and expect the survivor to treat the problem as finished. But agency means more than getting one behavior to stop. It means trusting your right to understand what happened. By lunchtime, 3 messages had arrived. "Did you make it safely? Busy day? Why aren't you answering?" At 1:04, "Mom said you didn't take lunch. You need to take care of yourself." Linda had not spoken to Josh. She was at a dental appointment. Josh had called the hospital. That evening, he denied it. "How did you know I missed lunch?" "You always miss lunch. You said your mother told you." "I assumed she knew." "You wrote that she said it." "I misspoke." In a text. Josh's expression tightened. "Do you hear yourself?" "Yes. You're analyzing every word, because the words keep changing." The question shifted toward Trinity's supposed obsession. This time, she watched it move and refused to follow. "I am not discussing my reaction until you answer what you did." Josh laughed quietly. "That must be convenient." Trinity walked away. Convenience no longer required a defense. Once Trinity began looking, she saw how information traveled. The shared calendar told Josh where she planned to be. The vehicle app told him where the car had gone. The bank account told him where money had been spent. Linda told him when Trinity left. The twins told him what happened after preschool. Her workplace confirmed whether she had eaten lunch. Every source looked ordinary. Together, they formed a system. Trinity stood before the family calendar. For years, she had believed shared access meant closeness. Now she understood that access without boundaries could become surveillance. She photographed the calendar, then removed several appointments that did not concern childcare or shared responsibilities. The empty spaces frightened her. They also belonged to her. Emma asked while Trinity helped her into pajamas, "Are you going to get in trouble?" "For what?" "For going to the coffee place." "What coffee place?" "The one with Auntie Celeste." Trinity kept her voice calm. "Why would I get in trouble?" "Daddy said you went there without telling him." Ethan looked up from the floor. "He said grown-ups have to tell the truth." "Did Daddy ask where I went?" Emma nodded. "He said it was a remembering game." "What did he ask?" "What streets and if a man was there?" Trinity felt anger rise. Then she saw Emma watching her face, searching for the safe response. Trinity knew that search. She sat between the beds. "You are never responsible for keeping track of Mommy or Daddy." Emma frowned. "If a grown-up asks something that makes you uncomfortable, you can say, 'That is a grown-up question.' Will Daddy be mad?" "Daddy is responsible for his own feelings." Trinity heard the sentence as she spoke it. It was the first boundary lesson she gave the twins. It was also one she had never given herself. "You questioned the children about me. I asked about their day. You asked whether a man was at the coffee shop. Emma mentioned someone. Celeste. She said a person with short hair. You told them adults have to tell the truth. They do. You made them think I had done something wrong. If you haven't done anything wrong, why are you upset?" The sentence once would have pulled Trinity into proving innocence. This time, she heard the test inside it. Calmness as evidence. Anger as guilt. Privacy as deception. She refused. Do not question the children about my movements again. They are my children too. This is harmful to them. Now I'm a harmful father? I said the behavior is harmful. You use clinical language so you can pretend you aren't insulting me. Do not use them to collect information. Josh stepped closer. You need to be careful with accusations like that. The warning was quiet. Trinity felt the old instinct to soften. Instead, she held his gaze. I am being careful. Careful no longer meant compliant. It meant that she believed what she was seeing. Trinity told Celeste inside a parked car, not by text, not inside the hospital. She explained the mileage, the notebook, the vehicle app, the hospital call, the questions to the twins. Celeste listened without interruption. When Trinity finished, Celeste asked, Are you afraid of him? Fear sounded too dramatic. Josh had never struck her. He had never punched a wall. He hasn't hurt me. That isn't what I asked. Trinity looked through the windshield. I am afraid of what happens when I stop cooperating. The truth left quietly. Once spoken, it did not disappear. You don't have to decide everything today, Celeste said. I'm a physician. I should have known. You're also living inside it. Trinity had expected validation to feel like certainty. Instead, it felt like the end of isolation. Mara Lewis did not ask why Trinity had stayed. She did not ask why a doctor failed to recognize abuse. She asked, what has her life become smaller enough to avoid? The answers came slowly. Lunches with colleagues, evening walks, unplanned errands, professional dinners, different routes home, closing the bathroom door, keeping her phone face down, taking the twins to the park. Mara allowed the list to remain in the room. You have been changing your behavior to manage his reactions. Trinity nodded. He says he worries. Concern respects boundaries. He says marriage means sharing. Marriage does not erase privacy. He says I make him insecure. You are not responsible for curing insecurity by surrendering freedom. For years, Trinity had believed her choices were to reassure Josh or hurt him. Mara offered a third possibility. Josh could carry his own feelings. Trinity could carry her own life. Dear hearts, validation is not someone making a decision for you. It is someone helping you hear your own experience without distortion. Subscribe and remain with the Velvet Circle, where survivors are not rushed, blamed, or required to prove pain before receiving support. Mara helped Trinity create a safety plan, not because Trinity had decided to leave that day, because control could escalate when challenged. She changed passwords, reviewed connected devices, copied birth certificates, insurance documents, passports, school records, and financial statements, opened an account at a different bank, spoke confidentially with hospital security, documented dates, created a code word with Celeste, identified where the twins could stay. Each step felt excessive. Each step brought relief. That combination told Trinity the preparation was not creating fear. It was giving fear somewhere useful to go. For years, she had prepared answers for Josh. Now she was preparing options for herself. Linda saw Trinity closing the secure folder. Are you leaving? I'm preparing. Linda's face paled. Josh loves you. I know he believes he does. He'll fall apart. I have spent years making choices based on what might happen to Josh. He learned some of this from his father. That explains it. Yes, it does not excuse it. Linda lowered her eyes. I answered his questions. You told him when I left. I thought I was keeping peace. You helped him monitor me. Linda began to cry. I am sorry. Trinity believed her. Belief did not restore trust. I need you to stop giving him information. I will. You cannot tell him what I am preparing. He's my son. I know. What if he asks directly? Then you decide whether his comfort matters more than our safety. Linda looked wounded. Trinity let the boundary remain. She no longer measured its fairness by whether Linda could receive it without pain. The alert appeared as Trinity left the hospital. Unknown item detected near you. A faint chirp came from her medical bag. The sound led to a loosened seam. She removed the tracker. Her hands did not shake. Her body became still. The notebook had made her question. The vehicle app had made her investigate. The tracker made the risk physical. This device had traveled into patient rooms, staff meetings, her office, places Josh had never been invited. She called Celeste, then Mara, then hospital security. She did not call Josh. That was the decision. He was no longer the person she consulted about the danger he had created. Trinity entered through the front door. Josh stood in the kitchen. Linda sat at the table. The twins were upstairs. Trinity placed the tracker on the counter. Josh looked at it. He did not ask what it was. "You put this in my bag." Silence. Then, "Where did you find it?" "In my bag. You must have picked it up somewhere. It is registered to your company email." Linda closed her eyes. Josh's face hardened. "You had someone investigate me?" The device identified its owner. "So hospital security is involved in our marriage? You tracked me." "I was protecting my family." "From what? You disappear for hours. I work. You meet people I don't know. I am allowed to know people you do not know. You hide things. I protected my privacy because you refused to respect it." Josh stepped closer. "Who have you been talking to?" Trinity said nothing. "Celeste? This is not about Celeste. Is she filling your head with abuse nonsense?" The word stopped Trinity. She had never used it in front of him. "How do you know what I've called it?" Josh looked away. Her private messages, her phone, the safety plan. Trinity did not need another confession. She had enough information to act. "Linda," Trinity said, "please bring the children downstairs." Josh turned. "No, I am taking them to Celeste tonight. You are not taking my children anywhere. They are coming with me. You think you can walk out because you have money? This is not about money. It's always about money." He moved between Trinity and the hallway. Linda rose. "Josh, stay out of this, Mom. I stayed out of too much." The sentence stopped him. "I answered your questions. I told you when she came home. I helped you make this house smaller around her." "Mom." "No." Linda stood fully upright. "Your father did this to me. I am not Dad. You are not entitled to become him, one question at a time." Linda moved toward the stairs. She did not rescue Trinity. She stopped assisting Josh. That created room. Trinity used it. Josh stood beneath the porch light. "You're destroying the family." Trinity closed Ethan's door. For years, those words would have pulled her back. Family, marriage, children, duty. She would have stayed to prove she was not destructive. Now she understood what the accusation meant. Her compliance had been holding his system together. "No," Trinity said. "I am refusing to let control define it." She entered the driver's seat. The old instinct returned. "Tell him where you are going. Tell him which route. Tell him when you will arrive." Trinity started the engine. Then she drove. She did not explain the destination. This episode shows technology-facilitated coercive control and the use of relatives or children as information channels. Technology-facilitated abuse may include unauthorized access to phones, vehicle apps, location services, bank notifications, hidden trackers, cameras, passwords, or account histories. The technology is only the tool. The abuse lies in using access to monitor, intimidate, accuse, restrict, or punish another person. A controlling parent may also question children about the other parent's movements, friendships, purchases, or conversations. This places children inside an adult system of surveillance and teaches them that love requires reporting. Safety planning can help a survivor evaluate risk before changing devices, passwords, access, or living arrangements. Trinity's strength was not acting without fear. Her strength was allowing fear to guide preparation instead of compliance. The first night away did not feel like victory. It felt like grief. By morning, Josh would send 43 messages: anger, apology, love, blame, promises, and fear. Trinity had left the house. Now she would have to stop carrying its rules inside her. Her story is fictional. The pattern is real. Dear hearts, thank you for spending this time with us in the Velvet Circle. If you haven't already, subscribe and become part of the Velvet Circle. See you in episode 3. One final question. Did you see yourself or someone you care about in this story? If so, don't stay quiet. Tell someone and ask for help.